It's guys, sexy Wookiees, and welcome to another episode of the Sexy Wookiee Squadcast. We're continuing reading Star Wars: Heir to the Empire by Timothy Zahn. This week's chapters are 11 through 15. Well, I don't really have an account. I'm trying to reach Lando Calrissian. It's your boy, Sexy Leader.
Hey, it's your girl, Sexy One.
Hey, what's up? It's your simp, Sexy Two.
Lock has foils in attack positions.
All right, you guys want to start out with a couple fun facts?
I was
Let's
hoping you
go.
would. Yes.
So for chapter 11, Timothy Zahn had said that Yoda can't actually mess with the controls, but he could always mess with Luke's sense of reality upon his first visit to Dagobah. So it might not be that something was actually wrong with the X-Wing, but possibly that Yoda was messing with Luke to make it seem like something was wrong.
Totally
Very
makes
cool.
sense.
Very cool.
And
I
then-
do like his understanding of the Force and how it works and all that. It does seem like it fits a lot more with the OT rules.
Yeah, from my understanding with his notes and his editor's notes is whenever he had questions, they would try to answer it as best as they could so that he could have a better understanding to write it out. So some things he got to guess and make up on his own. Other things, they explained it to him.
Cool.
Yeah. But another one from chapter 11 was he actually admitted he was confused if it was a cave or a magic tree, because in the movie it's a cave, but in the score it's actually titled The Magic Tree. So he tried to describe it as both because he's like, I don't really know what it is.
Cave with a tree heavily featured.
Basically. So that's why he kept trying to describe it as both. And I'm like, okay, that makes more sense. Because yeah, I thought it was a cave, but then I kind of remember it being a little bit like a tree, but I guess we're all just confused with him.
No, that's a good point. I think he did a good job describing it, like with branches and roots and vines and stuff. So it's got very tree-like elements, but he kept referring to it as a cave. So you get both things worked in.
He's a really good writer. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of being a good writer, so apparently he had studied to get his PhD in physics, and that's why he adds in a lot of physics like terms, and I don't know anything about physics because that's not my jam, but I could tell like when the nerd in him was coming out, and so he would try to explain things from that standpoint. And I was like, this is really cool. Like someone who doesn't know physics, I feel like I get it.
That's kind of cool. I didn't know that about him.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that'll explain a lot.
This one kind of made me crack up. I feel bad, but I kind of cracked up. So he said that in German, he found this out when he went to a Comic-Con in Munich, that there's not really a way to pronounce it THR. So he said, I feel bad for German fans that they can't pronounce Thrawn.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
And I was like, oh no.
THR Thrawn.
So
Did they just say on?
Thrawn. They say Thrawn.
Thrawn? I don't know.
Thrawn.
So if anyone is watching and speaks German, can you like write in the comments and explain how you pronounce it, what you call him? Because we don't know. And
Yeah, phonetically, how do you say Thrawn? That's great.
Yeah, because now I'm curious, but I like how he added that whole little note. He's like, I feel bad I did this to them.
He feels bad about that. Have you seen these other names that he's putting in here? Like nobody knows how to say them.
He actually explained in another note, he'll bring it up a few times. He explained how some of the names for like the ships or characters or locations are based off of people he knows or people he admires. So he'll like kind of warp their names together.
Oh, that'd be
to
fun.
create a new name. So he'll be like, yeah, this one is my friend, this one is this one author that I know. So he'll do that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's kind of cool actually.
Gosh,
I wonder who Lady Luck is then.
That one didn't get a note, so I don't know. Maybe his wife, I don't know.
Just seems like a Lando
Secrets.
thing.
Yeah, it definitely
It
seems
is very
in
Lando.
character for him. Yeah. So those are the few fun facts worth noting. Are you guys ready
Very
for the
cool.
questions?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
let's go.
Do you think curiosity serves the light side, the dark side, or is it true balance in the middle?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's neutral. I think curiosity, just as a quality, is neither light nor dark, but much like the force itself, it could be used to pursue light or dark. I think it depends on what you're curious about and how far you're willing to take it. But I don't think being a curious being is necessarily light or dark. Yeah, that's tricky.
Can you phrase the first part of the question again? I just want to make sure I heard right.
So in I think it was chapter 11 or 12 when they were talking about curiosity and if it serves the light or the dark. I'm just curious if you think, do you think being curious, it serves more the light side of the force, the dark side, or like Megan said, it's a neutral?
Yeah, see, so good thing I asked again. Because then I would have said neutral also. No. I think it's how the way the force is being used, right? And curiosity, each side has different types of the way they use the force, right? And so when you use curiosity, whether it's the light side or the dark, you can, I guess it plays whatever role it needs to play at time. But then then you have the neutral part where does it really pull? I don't think so. I think it stays neutral, but in a sense of just how the way you actually use it for. And if it's for curiosity, it's there's always a balance, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think it's more neutral, but depending on how hard you are into the light side or to the dark side, I think it could further cater if you stay on the light or the dark side. So I feel like it does cater to both. I feel like it starts out neutral, but then as time goes on, it will cater to one belief or the other.
And I think if it comes from a place of like dissatisfaction, like or mistrust, like I don't believe what I've been taught, or this isn't enough, I have to know more, like that's going to be a little more dark side. Whereas if it's coming from a place of like I just don't want to be ignorant, I wish to understand better, then that's probably more light side. But if you're curious out of frustration, then that's emotion. And for the Jedi, there's no emotion, only peace.
Very true. That's very true.
But you can use your hatred to make you powerful. And that curiosity can pull that way.
That's the quick and easy way to power. That's
I don't know. Maybe
side.
it's what I'm wearing is making me
way.
feel very dark side this week.
Oh.
All right, so this one, sorry, you're gonna have to think of it on the spot unless Megan guessed the question she might have. You're good at guessing my questions a lot. I love that. It's funny.
Sometimes, but it's been a while since I read these chapters. Usually as I'm reading them, I'm like, oh, she's gonna ask about this. And I can't remember now.
So what code word or phrase would you give to someone to use if they wanted to get a hold of you? So you know how Han talked about playing cards, so he didn't actually have to give names. So Lando could be like, it's him. So what would you tell someone to bring up or say, whether it's one word or a phrase, so if they needed to contact you, that you would know it's them?
So I like that with him, it was like, this is something from our past, and that if somebody brings up playing this game, then that's gonna be, they know that that's our thing. So it would depend on who it was. If it was like you guys, then it would have to be like something about alcohol. that if I was asking for like tequila, then you would know I'm in trouble because I don't drink tequila. But if it's whiskey, then you know it's me and everything's okay. Like that would be the trick.
So if we bring up like a bottle of whiskey, then you'll know, hey, it's these two.
Exactly. That's the either the all clear or the I'm in trouble. That's the code.
So if we needed to get to you without actually saying it's us, if it's bad, we say tequila. But
Bring
if
up
it's
tequila.
good,
Like,
then
oh, I
whiskey.
thought we grabbed some drinks, maybe some tequila. And then I'd be like, oh, okay. It's a
Something's
trap.
going
I know.
on.
I know something's wrong.
Oh wow, that was too good of an answer that I can't, like, how do you follow that? It's like saying fuzzy tauntaun.
If Megan needed to get a message to me, I'm sorry to skip real quick. If Megan needed to get a message to me, this is just for her. All she has to say is fuzzy tauntaun. I know it's for her.
Then you would know, like, it's like life or death trouble. That's how you would know.
Oh man, seriously, how could you follow that? I would have to decode it. I'm gonna decode mine. I'm gonna say I'm gonna change mine, and then probably it would have to be a noise, type of like droid noise, and then I would make something up. If we're gonna keep it in the Star Wars world, and then if you guys knew that, then like it's like, oh, that's the sound. We can say it's from Cody. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly.
But yeah,
So your droid would have
it's
like
the
a certain-
droid that would have my, just because kind of like the lightsaber that comes out of R2.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely a decoded message through a droid.
Okay, so we wouldn't be able to use afraid. We'd have to send it through the droid.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
binary. Like he's
'Cause it
going
would be-
Matrix.
Okay.
right. It would be too easy. Like if I were to give you guys a phrase or whatever. I mean, just thinking off the spot. Now I'm thinking of like what has X-wing have to do with it? But yeah, definitely something droid. I would like. Yeah.
Okay. I think if you guys needed to contact me so that I know it's you guys, I would have you throw in either the word like wedge, because I love me some wedge.
Mhm.
Okay.
Or the number 5.
Yeah, probably
Yes,
probably
yeah.
wedge and something with the number 5. Like somehow throw that into a sentence or two. I'll be like, it's
Mhm. Wedge
No,
is a
it's
good one too, because that can be used as like a noun or a verb or anything
Mhm.
else, not necessarily a name. So
And if you wanted to be real sly, you could be like, oh, I have this 5-pack delivery of like potato wedges or something. I'll be
yeah, or
like,
can I
"Hi,
wedge
wedge,
in
it's
like
them."
5 minutes with you?
Yeah, something like that,
Uh-huh.
you know?
You'd be like, gotcha.
It's them.
That's cool. That's yeah.
Prepare your battle stations, it's them. Get them in. Oh my gosh, that'd be funny. Okay, so alcohol, binary, simping.
Oh, nice.
You know what? That does sound like us.
Classic sexy Wookiees.
Oh, someone help Poe Dameron.
I want you guys to say like, R2, what are you doing here?
And then you'll know it's us.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Okay. Like, what the heck,
Um,
R2? Oh, that's funny.
I can't remember where I heard it, but isn't there some kind of a joke between Han and Lando about the pronunciation of Sabak or Sabak?
Yeah,
And-
isn't that an actual solo or something? It's either it's solo or it's something from not the original.
I think they play on it in Solo because at one point in the original trilogy, Lando refers to Han as Han,
Yeah.
but
Right.
that was the joke because the name of the game is Sabak and Han called it Sabak, and so he calls it Han. Like, so it's like their inside joke is that Han mispronounces Sabak, and so Lando mispronounces Han.
That's funny. I
With
didn't
the
know that.
same ah to ass sound.
Ah,
Oh my God,
nice.
that's funny. Oh,
Yeah,
that's a
so
fun
maybe
fact.
like a mispronunciation of something, that's a clever one too.
Oh yeah, that would be. That's
Nice.
true. All right, ready for the next one?
Yeah.
So, would you guys want to be hidden on Kashyyyk, knowing it's a literal death trap, or would you try to go somewhere else?
I was thinking about this one actually, because when they were
you
talking
go.
about, well, we could do this, we could do that, and I was like, Justin could ask which one we'd do. And I actually liked the idea that Lando had, where he was like, we'll bury you in like a capsule under the ground, then you'll be on the sun side, nobody can even get to you.
Mhm.
Like it's impossible. And then just, we'll catch you at the next rotation, check in, and then you can stay there as long as you need. And I was like, that's brilliant. Like that's pretty foolproof. and you definitely get alone time, and nobody's going to be, you know, even if you did get betrayed, nobody can get to you. Like, it's pretty solid. Whereas you go to an entire planet, the odds, like, you've been tracked all over the galaxy. The odds that you're going to be moving around and not have somebody notice where you are or get caught, even with all these fail safes that they're trying to come up with, like, if you are out there being seen by other beings flying around in a ship that you're associated with in some way or another, you're going to get caught. Like, your risk is so much higher. So no, I don't think Kashyyyk was the best idea.
So you would want to be buried in the capsule?
Yeah, I would totally go like Doomsday Bunker style. Let's bury me.
So I'm just gonna say what before I answer that. I just watched the Rogue One where she hides in the like.
See,
yeah, I don't want to.
And she survived.
How many days was Jin even in there? And I'm sorry to skew off the.
I think it was like supposed to be like a couple days.
Hours.
Yeah, I don't think it was supposed to be like too long.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. She had like the little light, and that was it. Like, I'm like.
I mean, she probably had like emergency rations in her little bag.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. That's
yeah,
true.
for
because
sure.
Didn't she have a little bag, right?
Yeah. Yeah, she did.
Yeah, Lyra had a big one, and then Jin had her little bag.
And they called like their emergency beacon to Saw, like when, you know, stuff started going down, was like, hey, we're in trouble. So like he probably came right away. Yeah. So probably a day or two at most.
And then I did watch recently episode 3. So I know how it looks like before the battle started. And I saw what it ended up being nighttime when all the Order 66 already happened. So so I don't know what the timeline is. No, I do know the timeline of this book.
Oh, you mean
to
for
that.
Kashyyyk?
Yes. So that was the question, right?
Yes.
Not okay.
Would you? Yeah, the question was, would you want to be hidden on Kashyyyk?
Yes.
Or would you want to go somewhere else?
Well, why? Nothing else. We shall just be there.
You just want to go with the Wookiees.
Got to be with the Wookiees. I mean,
I'd want to go with the Wookiees for vacation, maybe, but
as a hideout, come on. If they have a little hideout thing like what Jin had and whatever planet that was.
Well, no, they wouldn't have that. They said that their houses were like up in trees, literal death traps.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking it's a little bit Endor-ish, a little bit, where you're living out on the trees. And then these got to be bigger because they're Wookiees. So, you know, remember that the hideout where Yoda was in, or the outlook where Yoda was in. So yeah, I definitely want to hide there. If there's more Wookiees, bring it on, because I also watched Rebels episode 1 and 2 from season 1. Wookiees, there was Wookiees there, and I guess I'm just Wookieed out this week. So
all right, yeah,
okay, that's fair.
Loving some Wookiees.
That's fair. I think I'm too clumsy to go to Kashyyyk. Like,
that's probably true.
Yeah, I was showing my boyfriend today. I was like, I don't know where this bruise came from, but I found a new one. So I'm just, yeah, I'm very prone to accidents. So I think like I'd probably die on Kashyyyk like within my first 5 minutes there. But it'd be like, well, we don't have to hide her anymore. She fell off the tree somehow. She was sitting.
Solved.
She was just sitting and she fell off. Oops. I do like the idea of being buried, but then just as hard as it is for them to find you, if there's an emergency, especially because she's pregnant, I'd be like, oh my God, what if she needs a doctor because of the babies? Then it's going to take forever. So I feel like I would want...
There's got to be a medic Wookiee that knows how to deliver.
No, but like
we were talking about if they did the bury capsule.
Yeah, if
idea.
she was buried and she had an emergency.
Gotcha.
Then it'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm sure the Wookiees could take care of her, but I don't know. I feel like I would want to chance it and go somewhere else. I don't know, but that's just me. I think I'm too clumsy for Kashyyyk, and I'm too paranoid that if something happens while I'm buried, someone's not going to get there in time.
So let's flip the question really quick. Where would you go if it wasn't there?
That's a really
And go,
good question.
I mean, hey, at this point, we already know the
Mhm.
whole galaxy, or pretty much have an understanding of the galaxy. Where would you go?
Uh, call me psycho, but I would be like Tatooine because for some reason no one goes to
Hey, okay,
Tatooine.
okay,
Everyone knows the Tatooine, but no one freaking goes there. So I would just be like, I guess I'm
okay.
going to Tatooine.
That's right.
I think that all the trouble that they've run into so far as they know, has been because somebody ratted them out. Somebody
Yeah.
knew what their plan was, leaked the information, and they were ambushed, or just somebody on the inside betrayed them.
Bothans.
So
Yes,
probably the
Bothans.
Bothans, blame it
Oh,
on the
those
Bothans.
Bothans.
So I would want to go someplace where nobody will see you, someplace completely isolated, where
Mhm.
there's no like landing pad that you got to check in at. There's no like flight control that's going to run your ship's code on the way in, just completely isolated,
Mhm.
and that nobody will even see you coming or going. Like you have no chance of getting betrayed or ratted out.
Okay, Luke. What's the island in Last Jedi?
Oh,
I'm going
Octu?
Octu.
Oh god.
That's-
Yeah, let's
No,
go
there
with the
was,
fish
like,
nuns.
Fish nuns there. I don't trust them. They got
What?
porgs.
What better way for the Force to hide you from anything if you really want to be? I mean, that's shown us in the Star Wars galaxy that is the place to go. As far, I'd
Most
probably have to go to
unfindable place in the galaxy.
the first Jedi temple.
So then where would you guys go? Being buried alive and going to your death trap weren't options.
Yeah, I'd go find someplace totally isolated, like no life, like a meteor again. Go
Yeah.
hide out in the cave on a meteor
At least
That's true.
if they name it after you, then that'd be cool. But
inside of a worm.
if there's no,
It worked well the first time.
it's not a cave. It's not a cave. This is a good one for me. Because there's so many places I like. The background, definitely.
Yes.
Where else could I go? I mean, I'd be or Naboo. Dagobah or Naboo?
The lake country.
No,
Just
not
because
even
it's
the lake.
nice.
This is what's gonna throw you both off right now. Here we go.
Gungan City. Don't.
Oh boy.
The
Don't.
hidden city.
No.
Because
Really?
it's gonna be hidden. No one knows but the Gungans.
No one likes the Gungans either, so that's perfect.
Goodness gracious.
Talk about hiding. I'd be the perfect Jedi that could hide anywhere.
I mean, it's also a really good test of your patience living with them.
Oh yeah. No, I think I would live with them. I don't know about the seafood and if that's what they eat, but yeah,
Might be.
Okay.
it's a hidden city.
That's fair. That's fair though.
It's a hidden city.
If Thrawn weren't the one after me, I'd be like, can I just hide in your office for like ever?
Hide in Poe's closet.
She's one of the art.
Every time someone comes in, I'll just
She just poses.
It's a different pose every time.
Okay, wait, but sorry, that just reminded me. I don't know if we're gonna talk about it. How much did you love the ending of that chapter? Like just out of nowhere, Paleon's like, "Oh, this is a nice piece of art," and he's like, "Yeah, I'm finally figuring it out, but it's never gonna help me." He's like, "Oh, why not?" Because I destroyed their entire world. I'm like, come on, Thrawn.
Is it
Dude.
bad that I laughed at that? I just found that so funny. You know what? He actually made a note on that little part that I
Oh,
kinda...
Yeah, let's hear
love
the
it.
note.
I was
Let's
like,
hear the
oh
note.
my gosh, Thrawn, you are cold.
It said another mostly throwaway line put
Yeah.
in to remind the reader that for all his skill and urbanity, Thrawn can be ruthless if and when necessary. But as I read this again, I find myself intrigued by the possibilities. Somewhere in the future, I may have to tell this particular story. So Timothy Zahn, I know you're watching. You better write it.
Well, this is what I like that he does, and this is very much what made Star Wars so amazing, was that there would just be these little mentions of a thing here or a thing there and a person or a place or an event that isn't essential to the story, but it's just interesting enough to make you believe that this is a bigger world. There's a history to this galaxy and there are other things going on. And it's just this great bit of character building and world building that makes
Yeah.
the galaxy feel like a bigger place.
Mhm.
And And that's, I think, what Star Wars did so well in the beginning. And Timothy Zahn tapped right into that, and has this new character, but like it sounds like he's been places and done things, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this guy.
Yeah.
And
it
you really
shows,
don't
like,
know.
yeah, it shows how smart and skilled he is, and that he's so good he can even admit when he couldn't, fulfill his duty. And I like that it shows that Thrawn is super smart and capable, but at the same time, he's not going to shy away from, like, if he gets defeated, he's going to learn from it. He's not just going to sit there all pouty like the other Imperials. He's going to take the time to learn.
But also how ruthless in that he just so callously is like, then I destroyed their whole world. And the only reason he's upset about it is that it means he's not going to get a second chance to try to defeat them fairly.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care that he killed everybody and destroyed an entire world. I'm just like, oh, man, he was ruthless. This old Thrawn. He's not that way anymore, but he was he used to be bad.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy to watch what I've watched recently. I think he really falls in the line with people like Tarkin. And as when I was watching, I immediately thought of like the book Thrawn, and I was like, man, that's a character they do need to explore. And then again, I'm going to be very short with it. Need to be careful with what you put on when you put the show, because like align it with Rebels, so we don't go too far. But I'm hoping, like I'm really hoping, because I think he can be the next best bad guy after Palpatine. And if we were going to end, the saga, or if you're going to plan to put this before the sequels, then give us something to root for. And definitely let's root Thrawn if he's the next bad guy. I really want Disney to treat him with that, with that respect, with the book, with this book, with the same respect the book this has treated him.
Yeah, that's fair.
Any more official questions?
No more questions, because this is kind of like
it was short chapters.
Yeah, they were short chapters. There wasn't too much going on, so I didn't want to make like unnecessary questions. But it seems like things. Oh, it kind of felt a little bit like a filler, but things are picking up. So I'm sure next week there's going to be a lot more. But if you guys have any questions to throw in, go for it.
Yeah, I guess I got one. What would you have done differently from the, the kind of, it was like a football plan to me kind of thing, where it's like X will go this way, O will go this way. If you have a plan, throw it in, because I'd like to know. Or if you don't have a plan, would you have Han left your bride who's pregnant? I mean, obviously, I think he trusts Chewie with his life, and that's why he let it go. But I feel like Han didn't want to really. So either one, if you got any comments to that.
I think the only.
Oh, do you want to go first?
I was just gonna say, I think the only reason that he didn't go with her, I think he wanted to, was that he's got ideas for other things to do. Okay. And she's just going to be laying low. So that's, to him, kind of wasted time when he could be digging into some other things. And so she can be safe, and he can be coming up with a solution. Like, he's an action guy. He's not a laying low guy.
I think it kind of builds to his character as well, because I feel like, we already know his initial reaction is, I have to be with Leia. I have to protect her. I have to be there. But to be strong enough to be like, I have to take care of her from a distance, I just think that shows more to his character from, when we see him in the OT, he's just like, yeah, whatever. I'm just about getting the job done. But now, like, it's his family at stake. Like, there's a lot at stake. People he loves, his future children. And so I feel like it really does add more dimension to his character. And I just really love that.
Yeah.
I think he did the right thing to protect them by not being there with them, by trying to find more solutions away, like Megan said, not wasted time.
Yeah, I only asked because I read the chapter and I said, man, like, with the best plan that they could come up for this, because I wouldn't have been able to think of that. Like, really, like, you could not outsmart Thrawn. Like,
This guy, he's like, yeah.
Is he force sensitive? Does he use feelings? Like, what does this guy or this alien who, you know, who's, I'm going to use the term, what did they use the term savage?
Mhm.
What power do you have? No, he's just strategically that good.
Yeah,
I think.
he's very good at deduction.
Man.
And that was why it was mind-blowing to read somebody like him for the first time back in the day. And it was just, he would just solve things.
I know.
Very Sherlock
Jeez.
Holmesy. He would just kind of take a look at every little bit of evidence there was based on like all his extensive studies and deduce one thing or another. And then he'd work it out. And there were times where I was like, oh my gosh, it's like watching somebody solve a really complicated like math word problem. And
Right.
it makes sense. And then other times I'm like, there's no way he would just guess that on the first try. Like, and it gets really frustrating. So sometimes I think they have him arrive at the correct conclusion a little bit too easily, but for the most part, it does make sense once he works it out. And you're like, oh, okay, you used this reasoning to deduce this thing, and that makes sense.
Yeah. In the book, actually, in the notes, Timothy Zahn said that fans will compare Thrawn to Sherlock Holmes. And so in another note, he was like, Paleon is kind of like the Watson to the
Watson,
Holmes.
yeah.
Good way to put it.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I always thought that's what he wrote it purposefully based on.
Mm-hmm.
But if he hasn't said it yet in the notes, you can wait and see.
But this is why now we know why physics. So I'm pretty sure he's Thrawn at this point.
Smart guy.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I think you're right. I think these chapters felt a little filler. Maybe my attention span has just gotten shorter over the years, but I'm like, quit explaining things, get to the point, let's get to the action, come on. But he really likes to have dialogue where they explain what's going on and where they came from and why this thing and that thing. And eventually tidbits of that information will be relevant. So you do need to pay attention, but sometimes it feels so long. I'm like, come on, let's get to the plan. But yeah, I think everything's kind of set up. People are going where they're going, so things are gonna happen in the next few chapters, which are
next chapters are 16 through 20.
16 through 20. All right. Cool. Well, then that's your assignment, sexy Wookiees, and everyone at home. Read 16 through 20 for the next episode. And I can't wait to see what happens and discuss it with you, my squad mates.
Yeah. This is getting good. I love this. I already love Timothy Zahn.
I'm so glad we're finally reading this. This is the novel to read. If you've never read a Star Wars novel, like, you start here. This is it. But we've got a long way to go before we're done with it. And for this week, that's all we've got. So, sexy Wookiees, let's sign out. Sexy Wookiee.